Welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. Today is July 21st, and we are thrilled that you are here with us today. We have a very special episode coming your way. But first, I want to give a great big hello and how do you do to everybody joining us on YouTube. We just went live on YouTube. So whether you're watching us live now or you're catching the replay, thank you for being here. This is TNT. Consider this your standing invitation to the hottest room in the notary space. TNT goes live every single week because your business doesn't take the summer off, and so neither do we. We're here to sharpen your strategy, call out what's not working, celebrate what is, and make sure the decisions you're making are moving the needle. So show up ready. This isn't a vibe session. It's a work session. So it's an ask me anything style call where no questions are off limits. You guys can ask us anything on the panel. Questions in the chat box may or may not be answered. We are always going to give priority to folks who raise their virtual hand. And you can find your virtual hand at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So if you guys want to get in line to get your questions answered, now is the time to start raising those virtual hands. And I'm sure somebody's going to raise there to show the rest of the group how it's done. Good job, Deandra. I'll be with you in just a moment. Please be sure to check the chat for any rules or etiquette or announcements or information that we want to pass on to you. We make sure we put that in the chat for you every week. But first, I want to introduce myself. I'm Jen Neitzel. I am the creator of Marketing for Notaries, the co-creator of the Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent Program, and author of On the Move. And I am joined here today by the 2026 National Notary Association Notary of the Year, the GOAT herself, Miss Laura Biewer. Hey, Laura.
Hi. Hi, everyone. So good to be back and so good to be back on the call. I missed you guys
I
last.
we missed you guys last week. I feel like every time I introduce you that I need to have like a boxing micro like the boxers do in the
Yeah.
ring when they're like, now introducing
Tuesday.
the 2026 Notary of the Year. And you guys know Laura and I are supported on this call every week by Matt Miller, the president of the California League of Independent Notaries. How are you, Matt?
I'm good. Also, very happy to be back after a long trip last week
Yeah.
to South Dakota, and looking forward to our special guest today.
Yeah, well, Susie and I had some fun last week, focused on
Mhm.
marketing questions while you guys were away. We got to play in the marketing pit for a while, so that was fun. But so glad you're back. And today we do have a very special guest panelist who's going to be joining us in just a moment. I'm going to introduce her, but first, while everybody's getting in the room and getting comfortable, I'm going to go over a couple of announcements. First things first, Laura, we got
Yeah.
to talk about your book because if you're a notary and you work in hospitals and you don't have this book, you're missing out. Laura, tell us about it.
Absolutely. This is the guide I wish I had 20 years ago when I first started doing hospital work and hospice work. Understanding the significance of the role you play when you're working with vulnerable signers and the protection that we can offer and the maintaining of the integrity of that whole notarization system is just so important. And if you are either looking to do that kind of work or you're already doing that kind of work, then this book is for you. It is a field guide. This is not about stories of things that have happened to me. I have plenty of those, but I didn't put any in this book. This book is a guide, and it's meant to be each section very short to the point so that it's easy to find the help that you need right there when you're in the hospital room.
Seriously, guys, if you work in hospitals, care facilities, anything like that, please go get this book. The link, the Amazon link, is in the chat for you. And of course, if you need a marketing plan, there is also a book out there called On the Move that I wrote. And it's going to show you in 5 steps exactly how to implement a marketing plan in your business to keep getting that referral based business. So Matt will put that link in the chat. And then I want to also deliver a special message from the NNA. You guys, we've been talking about this for weeks. There is a scam happening, a phishing scam that is happening to notaries across the country. It is happening in every state. They are coming in through different directories. If you are associated with the National Notary Association directories, that's Find a Notary or signingagent.com, and you receive a suspicious message from someone asking you to get on a Zoom call before securing a job with you, and you realize that it's suspicious, please report that to the National Notary Association so that they can tighten things up on their end and continue to identify the patterns and be able to take the appropriate steps necessary to reduce misuse of their platform. Now we have a first in the state of
Yeah.
Oregon. This is the first time the state of Oregon has put together a notary conference, and it's happening August 13th and 14th in Salem, Oregon. The price for tickets is $275. It includes lunch and dinner, and the registration link is in the chat for all of our friends in Oklahoma or excuse me, Oregon. And
Yeah.
Laura, you're going to be there.
I
And
will be speaking there. Yes.
Matt, you are going to be there.
Yes, I'll be on a panel.
And I'm going to be jealous that I'm not there that weekend. So, but I know you guys are going to hold down the fort and have a fantastic time and deliver amazing messages to the notaries in Oregon. If you are looking for another in-person event and you happen to live in um, the northern part of California, the Notary family, our friends at the Notary family are putting on an in-person event in Antioch on August 8th. It's from 11 to 3. Matt, you're going to be speaking at this too. You're just all over the
Yeah,
place.
a busy year.
Jeff Clark, Joyce Gonzalez will be there. Laura may be presenting if there's
Actually, it's changed from maybe to definitely.
maybe to definitely. Laura is definitely speaking at this.
Yeah.
Registration for this, guys, is only $25, and the link is in the chat. It's a great opportunity to hang out in person with those that you see here on TNT every week. And lastly, Laura, before we introduce our guest panelists today, I want
Uh-huh.
you to talk a little bit about the importance of the American Guild of Notaries Public that our
Yeah.
friend Lori Ham has started. Can you explain why this is important and why notaries should pay attention to this space?
Absolutely. So, what makes this particular organization different is that it's about credentialing and vetting. It's not about being a member of yet another organization. So, she's not providing training. That's not what she does. Her purpose is to test, and it's a pretty rigorous test actually, to verify that the notary has the foundational knowledge that they should have. And there's different levels from apprentice up to master notary. And there are several of us on this very call. Matt, Kimberly, aren't you one too? Audra is also.
Mhm.
Um, who else is? Celicia, aren't you one of them? Aren't you
Yes, ma'am.
credentialed
Yes,
with?
ma'am, I am. Yes, ma'am, I
I
am.
thought so. I can't see all the pages, so you can unmute yourself very quickly and say, "Me too." Who are you? But
Me
what I
too.
want you to know is the importance of this is that we're actually not just saying, well, somebody took training. They're actually, and I'm talking about the foundational training, not specialty work, foundational training to be the most confident and competent notary. And it doesn't matter what state you're in because they have addressed that issue and you'll be tested based on your own states and it's scenario based. So if that is something you're interested in getting credentialed so that you can also say that I didn't just take training, but I have done rigorous testing to verify that I understand my notary laws, then now is your opportunity to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so important. Matt's going to throw or has already thrown the link in the chat for you guys to find out more information about the American Guild of Notaries Public. And then without further ado, I want to introduce our very special guest today. It's Kimberly Sennett. She is the founder of Notary Academy and Seal the Deal LLC, which is a national signing service with a network of notaries across the country. She's a California Secretary of State approved notary education vendor, a commissioned notary in California and Nevada, and a credentialed master notary through the American Guild of Notaries Public. Kimberly is passionate about raising professional standards in the notary industry through practical education, compliance focused training, and real world mentorship. Through Notary Academy, she helps notaries build confidence, strengthen their judgment, and understand the responsibilities that come with serving the public and the documents they handle. Welcome, Kimberly.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, you guys.
Oh, we're thrilled that you're here today, which you were usually here every Tuesday anyway. So we're thrilled when you're here every single week. Give us the quick pitch. Tell us about Notary Academy and Seal the Deal because you have a lot going on.
Yeah, I do have a lot going on. I think that we're very much in alignment with you guys, with Coach Me Laura, with you, Jen, in marketing, and Matt with advocacy. Um, very much on the same pages is that our goal is to raise the professionalism of notaries, to really get notaries to use discernment and judgment, and to really teach real world scenarios. We can
Yeah.
all learn the fees and we can learn, the rules and all that kind of stuff and pass the exams, but really, it's important to understand our role and how important we are to the public and the integrity that we bring to the office.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Thank you and for everything you do. And so, Kimberly, we are going to have you be part of our panel of experts today. So, we've got some friends that have their hands up. They've been waiting to ask a question. As you know, nothing's off limits here. So, but we are excited to have your very special brand of training with us today. So, Deandra, tell us what state you're calling from. Go ahead and unmute. Tell us what state you're calling from and how we can help you today.
Yes, I am calling from Texas. And my
Awesome.
question is later on today, I have a split signing. And usually, when I have a split signing or sign something where one party is not in front of me, I just usually, cross their name out, put a line through the signature line, and, that's fine. And it's always been fine. Today, when I called the title company to let them know that one party will not be sitting in front of me and explain how that would work, they was like, no, we don't want you to put a line across anything. You could write not present next to their name. Um, and if their name is pre-printed in the section where it has to be notarized, I could cross that out, but they didn't really want me to put a line through the signature page. I mean, through the signature line. And I don't know if that's appropriate.
Well,
So
let's
I just
find
want to
out.
know what
Yeah.
would you do in that situation?
Well, let's go to the goat and have her help us with an answer.
So when you don't have a second signer that's expected present, we don't alter the document in any way itself because they're probably going to be signing at
Oh,
another
look, I'm
time.
sorry. And let me also say I have to send the documents to the second signer. I left that part
Okay,
out. So I'm going to be
that's right.
sending the document to the second
So
signer.
so we need to leave that person's name in the document. We need to leave that signature line open for them so that when they get the documents, they can sign in the appropriate places. When it comes to the notary certificate, there are two ways. One you describe where you strike the one name, so it just leaves the one in front of you. Another one is don't use their certificate, replace it with your own certificate. That just names the one person that's in front of you. But there is a big difference between the document portion, that's not where we live, and the certificate portion. And that's where we're allowed to make sure that it's consistent with what I experienced. Was that
Okay.
helpful?
So
So don't
just
strike
say
that signature line.
don't strike the signature line. leave their pre-printed name there, which I was going to leave that anyway.
Yeah.
And I was told I could just write not present near their name.
If you got that instruction, then that's fine because you got instruction. But I'm going to tell you, I've never written anything there. I just leave it open so that the signer, when they get the documents, they have a place to sign.
Okay. Okay. So you would send the documents to the second signer with that line untouched.
Yes.
And your notarization on that page, your signature and stamped on that page with that line being open and blank.
Yeah, that's not considered a blank space that a notary has to concern themselves with. Blank spaces are going to be in the body of the document before the signature lines. So it's okay to leave a signature line for a signer who's not present open or blank so that they have their opportunity when it's their turn to have a place to sign. And I could,
Okay.
if I use that certificate and I just struck the one name, I could go ahead and fill it out and sign it and stamp it and use it if that's the procedure you're going to use rather than replace
Okay.
it.
So
Mhm.
when the second signer goes to sign and that notary is going to notarize their signature, will they use a loose certificate for that?
Right. So they would let
Okay.
the person sign and they'd use their own certificate if you've already used what's there.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's why I want to be sure of that
Sure.
part is done because I don't want it to appear as if I'm notarizing a signature for someone who isn't sitting in front of me.
Right.
But if you say that's fine, I'm fine with it too.
Well, let's see what Kimberly has to say too. Kimberly, do you have anything
Yeah.
you want to add to that?
I just want to make it clear that you are only notarizing for the person that's appearing in front of you. So that notarial certificate is only going to have the name of the individual that's appearing in front of you. If both names are pre-printed, then you would line through an initial if your state allows you to do so. If
Okay.
not, then you would need to provide a
Yeah.
clean certificate. So I just want to make sure that that part was clear because
Right.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
Great question. Thank you for
Thank
getting
you
us
both. I
started.
really appreciate that.
That's what this call is for.
It came
Um,
right on time today, right
it
on time. But I was
did.
sitting here struggling, I'm like, okay, TNT is today. I can ask my
Awesome.
question. Thank you
Well,
so much.
Thanks for being here. And tell me what part of Texas you're in, Deandra?
I am in Houston, the Houston area.
Houston area. Okay.
The sign-in today is in Houston, but I live in Fort Bend County.
Okay. You're I'm up the road from you in Dallas. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
thanks for the
Thank you.
question. And Larry is waiting patiently. He's in California. Hey, Larry.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi.
I don't have a question so much as kind of a supporting statement. Um, I found out yesterday that I passed the California Renewal Notary Test, and
Congratulations.
not
good
only did
job.
I pass the first time, but I passed with a 91.
Good
Now,
Yay.
for
Yeah.
you.
the thing is, the last time I took the test 4 years ago, I failed the first time, I think by 4 points, and I was, of course, devastated by that. And I went back and took it again, and this time passed, so that was fine. So this year, like my commission, my present commission doesn't end until January of
Mhm.
2027. But I decided I was going to get on the stick and study and
Yeah.
be ready and assume that I would have to go back and take it a second time. So I started doing everything early, and I just wanted to say that I appreciate all of the free information and free tuition that you, Laura, and you, Matt, and you, Jen, have imparted to all of us all year long. Because I really think I'd be heading back to South San Francisco to take the test again if it wasn't for all the stuff that you guys taught or have taught us. That's why I make sure that unless I'm in the hospital or something, I am here to learn everything I can from you guys every minute because you're just thank you. That's all I want to say. Just thank you.
Aw, thank
Love that. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. That little clip might end up on social media somewhere. Wink, wink. Thank you for saying that, Larry. We appreciate that you are here faithfully every single
Yeah.
week. It does not go unnoticed. Faith in Texas has a question for us. Hi, Faith, who is also in the Houston area. Houston
Hello.
representing today.
Yeah, so I'm north of Fort Bend County. So I have a full trust scheduled for this Thursday, and I need to know how to proceed with handling this appointment before confirming. So it's at a health and rehab facility and nursing home. The son-in-law called on behalf of his mother. She's recovering from a stroke she suffered for a few months ago. She is mostly verbal and highly aware. However, she does hesitate occasionally to find a word and may stutter or say a word that is phonetically close to the word she's targeting, which gives her pause and frustration. So he also said that he was going to advise her husband not to speak over her because she needs to prove her cognition. And, so he understands all of that. I spoke with him. So I'm a little concerned about this one here.
Well, Kimberly, do you want to offer some advice?
So, Faith, I think that the most important thing is to just make sure that you give your signer some grace and patience. They have been through a serious medical catastrophe, and it just is going to take them a little bit longer. We have good days and bad days, and the most important thing is just to make sure that you're assessing properly, that they are willing, they are aware, that they understand what they're signing. As long as you can assess all of those things, then you absolutely can proceed. Just because somebody's stuttering or phonetically the word isn't coming out right, just be patient. Give them a moment, reassure them that it's okay, that you're okay to let them have the time to say what they need to say. And if you feel within your gut that they are good, they understand, you are good to proceed. If not, if something just seems amiss and off to you and you feel like they're not understanding, then maybe you can come back another day or at a later time. Maybe they will have a better day or process. Sometimes we just have to pause. Sometimes it's not a no today. I'm sorry, that it's a no today and that we can move forward in another day. So I think it's fine. Just give that grace and that patience.
Okay, good. Good to hear.
Well, let's get to Laura's competency questions too, because this is a great place for her to remind us all of her competency questions. Laura?
Sure. So first of all, I like what Kimberly is saying, and that is
Mhm.
to take time. When you book this appointment, make sure you've given like 1.5 times the normal expectation so that you don't feel rushed. Because even when you think you're taking your time, if you feel that sense of rush, it's going to come out in your appointment. So give yourself extra time. And then the other thing is documentation is your friend, right? Document, document, document. So let's talk about what I think is important. What's important for me to document is when I assess them, and this is with the person. I have a different set of questions with the caller, but with the person, I want to be able to confirm they know who they are, where they are, the types of documents that they're about to sign, and that they're willing, they want to sign them. So if I have any concerns about those 4 questions, I have backup questions. I have a couple of extras that I might use. For instance, if the husband is in the room, I then might ask, and who is this gentleman here? I'm looking for a relationship. Not only does she know who she is, but she understands who she is in relation to somebody else. All right, so there's other things I can offer as well. The other thing that's important is this happen to be a stroke, so you could you may have difficulty maybe signing. slowness in speech or processing. But let's say it was something different. Let's say it was beginning stages of dementia. It does not help anybody to put they have dementia. That is not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is, are they confused? Can they follow my instructions? Right? These are very specific things that we can document rather than a condition, because the condition doesn't really address what we're there to address. So I hope that's helpful.
Yes. So you said I need to know the willingness of the person to sign,
Mhm.
and I need to know if she knows who she is, who they are. That's what
Yeah, who she is and where she is. I am Laura and I'm in a hospital or I'm in a rehab or I'm at home, right? Just some sense of understanding where she is in the world,
Okay, good. Thanks.
right? And who
Mm-hmm.
she is in relation to somebody else who might be present. That's
Yeah.
my son, that's my husband.
Okay, great.
And Faith, I have put Laura's Jen Cooper, our friend Jen Cooper, wrote a blog a while ago about Laura's competency questions, and I have put that link for everybody in the chat. So please feel free to open that up, print it out, keep it in your bag, whatever you got to do, so that when you need to be reminded of those competency questions, you've got them at your fingertips.
Great. Thanks. Anyone
You're
else?
welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for the question, Faith.
And they're in
All
my
right.
book.
And yes, and get Laura's book.
Oh no, I do have Laura's book, but here's the thing.
Dog ear it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I drove over to the forum this weekend snapping pictures for my website, and here I get a call today.
Yeah.
So it
There you
happens.
go.
It happens. Yep, follow the advice. It works.
Yes.
Every now and again, we know what we're talking about. Every now and again. Kimberly, we were just joined by the backbone of your organization, as you called her, Audra. She has joined us, so we're going to put Audra up on the panel too and have her help answer some of these questions. They're bringing some great questions today. Um, did you want to introduce Audra for us?
So, most of you know Miss Audra, but if you don't, Audra is, as Jen just said, she is the amazing backbone of Notary Academy. She's our executive assistant and manager for our national advisor team. Something that I like to tell everybody about Audra, a fun fact, she always gets a little shy about this, but I'm trying to be like Audra. Audra has read every single notary handbook for the states that have a handbook, not once, but two times. So
Wow.
she definitely knows her notary laws very well in every state. And yeah, she's a great pillar to the community.
She said in the chat, I'm a nerd. It's okay.
Yep. We're a bunch of nerds over at Notary Academy. We're passionate about it.
Audra, go ahead and pop in and just say hello to everybody. So folks that may not know you, that have seen you on social media, will recognize you.
Hi there. I'm Audra. Nice to
Hi,
meet
Audra.
everyone. Thanks for
Thank
having me. Sorry
Thanks
I'm
for
late.
That's okay. You had a class to teach. We're going to get to Nancy's question. She is out in California. She's been waiting patiently. Hey, Nancy.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi.
First, before I ask my question, I just have a couple of updates. You may remember a couple of weeks ago, I'm the one who shared my fears of
Yeah.
even wanting to like answer the phone or even accept a signing.
Where are we?
Well, I've accepted a couple of assignments, just haven't
Good.
been chosen.
Okay.
I've
Good.
even
Sure.
answered the phone and they were crank calls. They were the calls that you could tell it was a but I'm proud of myself for even answering the
Yes.
phone. You have no idea how much strength that took
Mhm.
to
Yes,
do
we
that.
do. Yes, we
Also,
do
in
know.
terms
We
of in
do.
terms of networking, I attended the local Chamber of Commerce network last
Yay.
Friday, and I had a great time. I met a lot of nice people and exchanged business cards and all of that. So I'm
Yeah.
proud of myself for that. And I'm also scheduled to attend a trust dinner tomorrow night. So
Nice. Good for
yeah,
you. Those
so
are
I'm putting
those.
myself out there.
I
You
love
are.
that, Nancy. You really are. You really are. So I want to hear from Kimberly and Audra, whoever wants to go first. Like, it's totally normal to be that nervous
Yeah.
as an entrepreneur representing your business, guys, right? Like,
It would be wrong to say anyone isn't,
yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through that, and they're lying if they say they
So,
didn't.
And I
yeah. Yeah.
still pause before entering a networking event or and I have people that are like with me regularly at events that will kind of push me and be like, you need to stop talking to us, the familiar people, and start talking to people,
Other
that you don't
people.
know. It's really
Yeah.
easy to fall into that
Yeah.
trap, but fear is such a normal part of being an entrepreneur, isn't it?
I get butterflies
It
just
is.
before I came into this room, even you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we all are nervous, especially for networking events, but going into appointments, everything. I could shake like a leaf before I go into somewhere. I
Yeah.
might look confident, but
Yeah.
you
So
know.
that's coming next. That's coming next.
Well,
I
hey,
have a question though.
you went to the chamber. That's
I
huge.
went to the
So,
chamber. Yeah, I went to
yeah,
the chamber.
good for
It was
you.
really nice. It was packed and a lot of information and thinking about joining it as well.
You should. It's a
Yeah.
great investment for your business. But
Yeah.
what was your question today?
The question was in terms of E&O insurance.
Uh-huh.
Being part of the NNA, I purchased the basic, 25,000 for E&O insurance. But
Hmm.
I met with one of another notary that I met at the CNTDA, one of the online, we kind of chatted and said, let's meet. And she mentioned that in terms of being a loan signing agent, that the 25,000 is not enough.
Well,
What's the,
we have a signing service owner on our panel today. So let's go
okay,
straight to Kimberly and hear what she has to say because she knows.
Yes,
awesome.
that is correct. We like at Seal the Deal, my signing service, we do require any notary that we work with that does loan signings to have at least a minimum of 100,000. We work with several national title companies, WFG being one of them, and they require our notaries to have a minimum of 100,000 contractually.
Okay. So where would I get the insurance from for the additional
So
amount?
you can go through the National Notary Association. You can actually go through your insurance agent, even if you have, who you do your renters or your homeowners insurance through, they can help you as well. Byberg, Hiscox, those are all popular brands as well.
Okay, good to know. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for the question. Does anybody have anything they want to add to that?
Actually, Jen,
Yeah.
I'd like to add one other thing.
Yeah, go for
Um,
it.
I think it's really important. I am not an insurance agent. I am not giving any advice. This is friendly notary community, okay? Um, when it comes to insurance, your E&O is important, but also you should look into general liability insurance if you are a mobile notary. If you
Mhm.
go into somebody's home or business, you are there on official business. If you happen to step over somebody's toy and break your ankle or you get bit by a dog, their insurance isn't going to cover you. You need to have your own insurance to cover you and your own business.
Very important message. Thank you for adding that little footnote. We appreciate that. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Thank
Yes.
you so much.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, keep up the good work and keep coming back and keeping us updated. I
I
love
will.
seeing that progress. And I love seeing you smile today
Thank
and
you.
not feeling nervous. So you've
I'm good.
already
I'm
made
nervous, but
progress.
good. I'm good.
Yeah, sometimes nerves can be a good thing, you know?
Yeah. Thank
It's
you.
good to see you, Nancy. Luz, remind me what state you're in and tell us what we can do for you today.
Florida.
Florida, that's right. How can
Yes.
we help?
I have a question for you guys today because I was reached out today a by a client asking for a Ron, and when I was asking more questions, it's just coming off weird to me, and I was in between signings, so I said I'll get your. He gave me basic information. I said I'll get back to you because I think I have to research this a little bit more. And basically, what it is he purchased a motorcycle from someone in Ohio.
Mhm.
It is a vintage vehicle. never been driven, and I guess he's trying to register it with the Florida Department of Motor Vehicles, but it looks like it's never the person that he purchased it from. They purchased it from an auction. They had it as a collectible. Now he's trying to register it to drive, to actually ride this motorcycle. And he says, well, he has all the documents, and I just need a Ron notary to do this. But as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, where are you? He's like, well, I'm here in Florida. I'm like, okay, where's the person that you purchased it from? He's like, well, he's in Ohio. And I'm like, I've started to think, but I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So when did you purchase this? He said, oh, I purchased it 10 years ago. I was like, wait a minute. There's a lot of variables here that I'm very uncomfortable with. And off the bat, I was thinking, okay, this can't be Iran. And if it is Iran, it has to be done through Ohio because the seller is in Ohio. So that's where the actual point of sale is. So it can't be done here in Florida. It has to be done in Ohio because he's the buyer in Florida. So all this transaction has to happen in Ohio.
So let's throw this to the goat and see what she has to say, Laura.
I think that's why Ron was invented. So it doesn't matter where your signers are. That could be your signers in Ohio when you're handling them. But I'm not sure what the DMV requirements are for that state. Matt, you've got information?
Yes. So Ohio requires all seller signatures on motorcycle or vehicle title transfers to be notarized. So the seller needs to have his signature notarized on the title transfer so that the new owner can register the vehicle in Florida. And it sounds like that was never done. And yes, this can be done via Ron.
Okay.
But you got to start with the seller
Yeah.
and title transfer.
And what I'm heard initially, I have to call them back because I told them I would have to do some research, and I'm like, and I knew we had our 2:00 or 3:00 today, Tuesday. I'm like, thank God I can answer this question. Yes.
Well, I'm so glad you did, Luz.
Because
let me see.
that's
I
just
want
my
to see if
question.
Kimberly or Audra have anything that they want to add to that at all. Ladies?
All I would say is that the difficult part of that is that you cannot instruct that assigner on what they need in order to complete everything, because then you're falling into unauthorized practice of law. They're going to need to get those documents completed properly on their own. Yeah, it's kind of a situation. If the seller sold it 10 years ago, them finding the seller might be difficult or impossible. So they may need to work with Ohio DMV possibly. But again, you have to stay in your lane. Keep your notary hat on and only, give advice that you're allowed to give within your state laws.
Yeah. And I was, from what he was telling me, because he's still in contact with the seller. But what he was telling me is the seller, when he purchased that vehicle at auction, he never registered it with the motor vehicles, I guess, in Ohio.
So there's no title to this, is what I'm
There
hearing.
is title.
Exactly. There is.
Motorcycles are titled property.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't know he doesn't know where the title is.
Oh, in that case, they're going to have to file for a lost title.
Lost title, duplicate title.
Exactly. So I haven't seen the documents that they have because
Which also requires notarization.
Yes, exactly. And I haven't seen any of the documentation that they have. He says that we have the document, we just need a Ron. My thing was okay.
Oh,
I have
him send you what he has. That way you can see it.
Yeah. So because he hasn't sent it yet, but when it just sounded a little complicated. What he was saying, I'm like, I don't think.
Were you worried that maybe this was one of those phishing schemes that we've kind of been talking about? Is that kind of what your concern was, or?
No, not necessarily. I think the documentations that what he's talking about, I'm not thinking it's the way he's trying to do it. I'm not thinking it'll be a simple Ron.
Yeah.
Notarization. I'm thinking it's something that it's going to be a 2-part thing because it was it was purchased in Ohio. I'm thinking some documentations might have to be notarized by an Ohio notary.
Mhm.
And maybe his could probably be notarized by myself because I'm
Yeah.
in Florida and he's a Florida resident. But that's all. But I just haven't seen those documents yet. But I'm just kind of concerned about that. And I don't know if Ohio does Ron either. And I
They
don't
do.
know.
They do.
Okay.
I'm in agreement with Matt and Laura that this whole thing can be done on Ron.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't see a reason you could do
Okay.
both pieces.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, thanks for the
That was it.
question, Liz. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
And our friend Celicia in Jacksonville, Florida, has a question. Hey, Celicia.
It's, another one
To
of
see,
those, Celicia poking around finding things.
Oh God, did you find another phishing scam?
No, this is something good. This is another good, I love free and I love free advertisement like your Google business profile. I'm over here massaging my Google business profile, but I usually have my WhatsApp business on my desktop, because I can type on that a lot faster than I can on a telephone when I'm, sending documents and that sort of thing. And then something just caught my eye about WhatsApp business catalog. So you can go into your WhatsApp business and add items like mobile notary, live scan fingerprinting, hospital note. You can add all of the same things on your WhatsApp business with a little picture, with a link back to your website. I just found it just now while we were waiting.
That's the second time this week, like actually in 2 days, this week so far, it's only Tuesday, that someone's brought up WhatsApp business to me.
Oh,
The universe is
absolutely.
trying to tell me something.
Oh, honey, if you don't have WhatsApp business, I mean, all you have to do is just change your account over from WhatsApp to WhatsApp business
Yeah.
account. But it's so easy for, especially if you've do a lot of apostille, you're working with a lot of international people, everybody around the globe uses WhatsApp because you don't even have to have a live telephone number.
Mhm.
I mean, you just need some Wi-Fi and it, you can go back and forth like that. But like I said, I just found another way to put your
Nice.
stuff out there.
Love
Is
it.
under WhatsApp business and catalog. And now what I'm doing is I'm kind of going back over to my Google business profile and adding my not services, the services and what are those other products. So I'm going and grabbing my products and I'm putting them in my catalog because the products, have got
Nice.
a little picture and everything.
That's a great tip, Celicia. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for
I'm working
sharing
on it.
that.
Thanks.
All right, guys, we got some great tips and tricks and all kinds of good discussions today, but we still have a few more minutes left. So, who else has some questions for us? And while you guys are raising your hand, I want to ask Kimberly and or Audra or both, however you guys want to handle it. What are some because I know you guys come across these all the time, like these new little tips, like things that Celicia was just talking about that you discovered that, oh my gosh, this could make a difference in how people find me in my SEO and my Google business profile. What are some of the tips that you guys are liking these days?
Audra, do you want to share boards?
Yeah, I mean, I can. I don't know if you've ever heard of the app. It's called Boards. Very simply, Boards. Boards.com. It is a very plain logo, just a white background with a letter B. It is a keyboard extension on your phone, and it is a browser extension on your computer. And what it basically does is anything you type more than twice should be on a board. Because if any of you use notes apps or send text to yourself so you have things, send a WhatsApp message to yourself so you can copy and paste it on your computer, this is kind of the answer for all of those type of things. I use it for just about everything in
Okay.
life. It has saved so much time. That is why I got into it. I got tired of responding to text messages. I do predominantly general notary work. Okay. I got tired of spending hours in text messages having to type the same stinking message over and over. My prices are this. This is what I can and can't do. This is what you need for ID. If you have to type it out more than once or twice, it goes on a board, then it's literally copy, paste. You have access to it on any keyboard, whether it's on your computer, whether it's on your phone, on a tablet, anything like that. They do
Cool.
have different plans and things like that for that you can get in for free. You can have one board for free. It's limited on how many things you can put on it, but there is a free app, and it was built for network marketing professionals that are in conversations with people all day.
Yeah, yeah.
And having lived in the world of both myself, I quickly turned it over to my notary business, and I have shamelessly about 11 full boards at this time that I use for every aspect of life, from my kids to anything. So it's
Yeah.
incredible. That is a huge time saver that I will never give up.
Would you
So,
mind putting a live link
yeah,
in the chat
absolutely.
for that? And honestly, Audra and Kimberly, while you guys are at it, just so that anybody that's on the call today wants to follow you on social media or find you, if you guys wouldn't mind putting your handles in the chat as well, because you guys turn out some great social media posts. So I think you guys should all be following Kimberly and Audra for sure. Very good information. Kimberly, did you have any little trick or tip that you wanted to share before we get to Shirley's question?
No, I just want to piggyback on the boards really quickly because our entire team uses it. It is really a useful tool. Audra said she uses it for general notary work. I use it for loan signing, especially if you're mobile and you're in the car often. It's just such a fantastic tool. At first, it can seem a little overwhelming, but once you learn how to do it, it's great. We do offer a tutorial on it at Notary Academy. And yeah, it's an awesome tool. That's all.
Awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. That's a great tip today. And Shirley in Bozeman, Montana has a question for us. Hey, Shirley.
Hey, so I'm at the very beginning of your CNTDA program.
Awesome. Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Yeah.
And you
Anyway,
got it right, CNTDA.
yeah, well, I have it written down, otherwise I couldn't do it. Anyway, there was one of the tabs that I clicked on was talking about the notary calendar.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I was a little confused of it's just kind of a landing page. It's if you don't have a website, this is good to have. Is there any place I can go to see an example of what it looks like or how it works?
Great question. Um, I believe the website here. Have you visited the website? I just put it in the chat.
No.
I believe the
Is it
website
going to show some dummy pages so I can see what it looks like? Actually, I think I went there, but I couldn't see any.
under landing, I'm looking right now under landing pages. Here's what I do know. At the very bottom of the page where it says customer care on his webpage, you'll see
Okay.
contact us. Um, Tony Benson is the owner of Notary Calendar.
Okay.
Reach out to him and just fill out that contact form and let him know that you want to see some and have him reach out to you. He's very easy to get in contact
I'll
with
do it.
and he'll be happy to connect with you and show you what they look like. I've seen them before
Okay.
and they're very simple. If you're looking for something a little more flexible, the other one we have in that resource center that you're talking about is new. It just went up. It's called Notary Sites.
Okay.
And it's about the same price. And I'll just share this with everyone here. If you're needing a website, I recommend both of these guys, the My Notary Calendar or the Notary Sites. Those are my affiliate links. So you guys are
Okay.
welcome to check both of those out and see which would best serve you and your
Yeah.
needs.
Yeah. Thank you for that information. I was debating on, because I have like a website that I've kind of drafted and it's ready to go live. But then
Hmm.
I didn't know if maybe this is something better than to do.
I mean, if you've got it and you're ready to go,
Yeah.
who did you use to create it? You use yourself,
It's just
like
GoDaddy
GoDaddy.
because I have other sites with them for my art stuff and
Hmm.
I'm familiar with it. So I just put together something really
Sure.
simple. I can put
I
a
listen.
calendar on there, but
I would reach out to both of these.
okay.
Scott is in Notary Sites and Tony is Notary Calendar. I would
Okay.
reach out to both of them on their contact form and have them and talk to them and see if how it's going to benefit you and ask the question. They're both very reasonable people and they're not going to try and sell you something that you
Okay.
don't
All
need.
right.
And that's
Thank you.
exactly why we recommend them, right,
Yeah.
Laura?
Okay.
Exactly.
Thanks for the question, Shirley, and good luck. Let us know what you decide to do. All right, guys. Anybody else have a question while I go into our question board? All you have to do is raise your hand. I opened that boards link that Audra put in there. Now I can't find my notes. There we go.
Sorry.
Well, while you're waiting to come up with a question, I think Matt and I would like to take a moment to share an important message that we received at the NAS conference.
Thank you for this reminder. Yes,
And
please
it
do.
came up during a conversation about apostille in particular, but it doesn't matter what the specialty is. And that is the number of times that there is a rejection by the Secretary of State's office, and it's because of the notary, not because of the type of document, not because of the customer. It's us. I'm talking like probably over half the time. So it's really, I want you guys to be thinking about this. This is why we hold TNT. This is why I have my Laura's Inner Circle on Saturday. Kimberly has Inner Circle on, what day is yours?
We do mentorship, free mentorship on Fridays, but we do live daily classes every day.
So she has free mentorship on Fridays. These, what I'm talking about, are foundational training, meaning if you're from a state that doesn't offer training, then you need to be getting into one of these so that you know what you're doing before you're offering apostille work, trust work, or any other specialty that involves notarization. Because it wasn't just one Secretary of State's administrator that was talking about this. They all were in agreement that that was their issue. And examples, Matt, do you remember some of the examples they gave?
The biggest examples for rejection were signature match or not matching. So it's important to remember that when your documents that you've notarized are being submitted for apostille, or often when they're being recorded at the county recorder's office, they check their system to look at your signature and your stamp to make sure that it's close to what's on file. And they typically lift those from either your bond or your application. So what Laura and I had decided was we should always be notarizing like the cameras are always rolling, because you don't know where your documents are headed after you leave that appointment. And so in an effort to reduce or mitigate any rejections for your customers that may later submit them for apostille or recording, make sure that you're, paying attention to how you're signing, make sure you're filling out the certificate properly, make sure your stamp is logically associated, not smeared, not double stamped, not faded. If your ink is old, change it. And the other one was certificate language. So for states that have mandated certificate language or suggested certificate language, it needs to closely follow those. California is one state that has codified our certificate, so it has to be word for word. All other states say substantially close to the examples given. So you want to make sure that that certificate is not asking you to certify something that you're not allowed to certify. In recent experience, I'm seeing a lot of documents that are being created with the help of AI. And what it is doing is conglomerating certificate language from multiple states and putting it into one certificate. And sometimes it'll ask you to certify things like age or race or weight or height and things like that. And notaries aren't allowed to do that. So pay attention, read through your certificate, make sure your signature is consistent, your stamp is clear, and you shouldn't have any issues.
I have two more things to add to that. One is corrections. There are no corrections allowed. So like we talked about on that loan signing at the beginning of this call, just striking it. You can't strike a name on a certificate. You can't fix a misspelling. If you make a mistake, you better replace that certificate. They just don't tolerate. There's zero tolerance for that. So I think that was an important thing, because in everyday work that does happen, and it's usually acceptable to strike initial. It is not acceptable in the case of apostille work. What's the other one? Oh, the other thing is that some of you may act as couriers, let's say for the apostille, right? So if somebody else has done the work, the notarization, you're being paid to get it to the Secretary of State's office and get it processed. And the issue there is that not checking the previous notary's work. Well, I wasn't the notary. It doesn't matter. You better be checking that certificate, even if you're not the one who did it, to make sure that it's going to be acceptable, because we've just wasted time and money of that customer, right? By not checking it, assuming that the notary before me, and I've had quite a few of them, that the notary before me was not going to be acceptable. And so then I give my customer an option, and that option might be A, I can just redo another one right now with you, or B, take it back to that notary since you paid for it, get it another certificate done, and then bring it back to me. It just is, how much time do they have? So please make sure that if you're a courier for other notaries, you're checking their work too.
Yeah, such an important message. Thank you guys for reminding me about that, Laura. And I think that's probably something we need to be talking about for several weeks, right? To keep reminding folks to check that. It's so important. When it's over 50% incorrect
Crazy.
notarizations, that's entirely too high. And to go back to the American Guild of Notaries Public, it makes the work they're doing even more important, right? Yeah.
And let me tell you, California was right there with
yeah.
everybody else. And we have 6 hours of training. So if you're in a state and there's no training, guess what? 6 hours of training, and notaries in California are also making these mistakes.
Yeah.
And they are busy, guys. California alone last year issued 461,000 apostilles.
Wow.
So when you can make their life a little better,
yeah,
it helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you guys
thanks.
for that. Debbie, I see your hand up. We're going to get to your question. I just want to say first that Audra has put a link in the chat to the Notary Academy free Friday mentorship. It's a Zoom. If you want to get registered for that, just scroll up a little bit, look for Audra's post, and you guys can get registered for that. Hey, Debbie, quickly, what can we do for you?
It's not so much just for me. I was just wondering what else Laura and Matt learned at the conference last week.
Oh, let's hear it, guys.
You know, a big portion of the conversation was around deed fraud and what those of us that are on the Uniform Law Commission Deed Fraud Committee are doing. And we are working on a model law to be issued next year for states to use when implementing mechanisms to help mitigate deed frauds. That was a big part of it. We also talked about illegal and legal requests. Laura and I presented to them what Clear Title was asking notaries to do earlier this year with their irrevocable power of attorney. And guys, when I showed this to the administrators, there were audible gasps and laughs in the room. So don't do that. And Laura also shared with them some certificate language we sometimes see that doesn't really have an act in it, right? For example, so-and-so appeared before me on this date. Well, there's no act there. Did they acknowledge? Did they subscribe and swear before you? And so they were really interested in that. What were a couple of other topics that stood out?
Ozzy Stallwell talked about AI.
Yes.
And where it might be appropriate to lean into that and where it's not appropriate to lean into that. So that was interesting because these are, public officials working for the government, and they're very nervous about doing anything with that. So that was really more directed at them, not at us, but it was the same. I would use the same suggestions, which is administrative assistance, not to rely on it for other direct.
Don't ask it policy questions because it'll be
policy
wrong
questions, law questions, certificate questions. Stay away from that.
That makes sense. Thank you guys for sharing that.
And one other thing.
Okay.
We talked about sovereign citizens because this problem is not going away, and what to look out for, and the mysterious documents. And so so they were talking about what they do. So a lot of them have panic buttons at their counter, or they have security in the office they can depend on. So I posed the question, like, what does someone like myself or Laura do who are out in the field and enter into people's homes? And the consensus was, you have a choice. You can refuse service, or in the case where someone might be being aggressive and coercing you, you can go ahead and perform the notarization and then do two things immediately. Call the authorities and call your governing body and report it and tell them what happened. That way you're covering yourself and then they can take the ball from there.
Sounds like a blog post that you need to write.
Yep.
That advice. Well, guys, we are a little bit over. Thank you for hanging out with us today, but that was important information when we've got representatives from this call going to the National Association of Secretaries of State Conference. We want to hear about it. Normally, I put Laura on the spot to close us out. Laura, are you in a
I'm
spot?
ready to be on the spot.
Awesome. But before I do that, I want to give a very special thank you to Audra and Kimberly with
Yes.
Notary Academy. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us.
Of course, you guys, everybody needs to be following them online. Please check out their links in the chat and get registered for their call on Friday, their inner circle call on Friday. Thank you guys, and hopefully we'll see you next week on TNT. So, Laura, let's go ahead and close us out for today.
So people do ask me quite often, how do I be like you? How do I get to be the GOAT? How do I do that? And here's what I'm going to tell them. Every expert was once a beginner who decided to keep showing up. It's that simple.
That's it. Love it. See you guys next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.